The Fat Electrician, toilet sink submarine, most expensive bowel movement ever? Question mark. That's a title, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary peeps. That is how in the business we say you hook your audience, you grab their attention, and wow, that's how you grab my attention. I'll tell you what.
Today we're talking about that time in World War II when a German officer sank his own submarine by taking a dump. Yeah, this actually happened. But first, an ad.
Oh my God.
This video is brought to you by...
But first, an ad? Like, I know I talk about, like, bad and good transitions all the time, but this is still an example of a good transition. Like
taking a dump. Yeah, this actually happened. But
there's your hook. Your audience is hooked. You're in, right? You're invested. I need to see how this goes worse.
But first, an ad.
The fact that he says it in this way, it's that comedic, jovial, the comedic and jovial intent there. Like, I would argue that is a good ad read. It's not, you know, and now thanks to today's sponsor or whatever, right? It's not a hard break. It's such a transition that I actually think this is a super good ad read. I love it.
This video is brought to you by Warwood Tools, an American family-owned business based out of West Virginia that's been making sledgehammers and axes for over 165 years. I mean, look at this bad boy. It's a 10-pound sledgehammer made out of 1060 high-carbon steel that was forged using World War II-era drop hammers.
God, I love it. It looks so sexy. I should not like hammers this much. I shouldn't. Hip. You cannot be attracted to the implements. So I'm an SCA. That's my real secret. Where else can you, in a safe setting, get stabbed? Right. That's all I'm gonna say. SCA is wild.
So next time somebody tells you they don't make things like they used to, just know that Warwood actually does. Back to the video. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Type 7 German U-boat. U-boat just means underwater boat, aka it's a submarine, and the Germans just wanted to use a different name so that they could feel special. But
right.
With the Type 7 U-boat in particular, a special name just wasn't special enough. No. They also had to have a special type of toilet. You see, the Germans didn't want to use a septic tank on board for their bathrooms like literally every other submarine ever. You know, because septic tanks made sense and were convenient. I mean, they took up a lot of space and added weight.
See, we run into this a lot in like the game design industry and stuff like that, where it's like this face right here is exactly that sentiment, 100%. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Like, if it works, it's fine. If it functions, it's fine. If it's stupid and it works, it ain't stupid. Like, come on. Yes, the hammer will outlast anybody alive today, and that's why I love it. It's perfect. It's just quality engineering.
Apparently. So instead, they engineered their way out of common sense and proceeded to make a toilet that would flush directly into the ocean, which honestly wasn't a terrible idea, except for the fact that you could only flush when the submarine was above water, which is
A for effort. I like where they're going. Cool. We have it. We have a hypothetical design. How do we actually, like, you know, implement this in a way that's not stupid? And I think we failed on that second point.
I'm sure you can tell by the name submarine wasn't all that often. You see, when the submarine was underwater, it meant that the pressure outside of the sub was greater than the pressure in the sub, and you can't exactly flush a toilet into a higher pressure system because that's not how toilets work.
That's not how science works.
Because, you know, gravity and science and shit.
Yeah. Science, though, oh my God. The fact that you could have negative pressure rooms, and you deal with this, I think it's chemistry in certain capacities. There's other fields that deal with it, but you have like negative pressure rooms and stuff. It's so cool. Like, I do love me some science. Task failed successfully. Yeah, this video, it can be summed up apparently with task failed successfully from what it sounds like.
Science! If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that every time this submarine was underwater and one of the 50 crewmen had to take a piss or honk out a dirt snake, they had to do it into a bucket because the toilets didn't work. Dear God. And then they...
The SFM animation gets me to this day. Oh, it's so good. Just, dear God. This video is amazing. This is perfect.
They just had to leave the bucket sitting out and hope they didn't spill, which is what the medical community refers to as fucking disgusting. Enter the turd tagonist of our story. Ladies and gentlemen, U-boat 1206.
The turd pagonist. So I think people think I'm like blowing air and blowing smoke when I'm like, no, the fat electrician is super personable and he just brings life to content. Like, Kip, you're just showboating and you're just no. He's personable because this whole introduction has been amazing. Like you relate to this. You're like you vibe with this, right? You you resemble this to a degree, right? The turd tagonist. That is perfect. It's so showcasing. That's not me blowing airs. Fat Electrician is genuinely a super legit dude.
It would depart for its first war patrol ever on April 6, 1945, under the command of 28-year-old Adolf Schlitt. And Commander Schlitt's new vessel was equipped with the latest and greatest toilet technology. You see, the Germans had addressed the issue of not being able to flush underwater, and it absolutely was not by equipping a septic tank like everyone else. No, they had superior German engineering.
I have never actually seen this image before. That's perfect.
And that's exactly what they used on their toilet, because they created a toilet that would flush into a pressure chamber that they would then pressurize to a pressure that was greater than the water pressure outside of the sub, and then they would open it and shoot the feces into the water like a poop torpedo. They literally made a turd torpedo.
Absolute legend.
Nice.
Which honestly infuriates me on so many different levels. Because A, they're roaming around the seven seas blowing mud all over the ocean floor, and I can't even get a plastic straw 78 years later. Look, I'm not...
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
saying I don't care about the turtles. All I'm saying is we need to come up with a compromise where I can pretend to give a shit about ocean animals while also not having a mushy straw halfway through my drink. Secondly, and probably most...
I mean, I just use reusable straws when I can, right? I mean, that's always not, necessarily possible, right? If you're on your way somewhere, right? I don't know. Like, I think, like, so I went to Army Navy once upon a time. Kip story time. Part of why Kip was definitely watched in high school, I guess. Like, I went to Army Navy, and the brown satchels with the Biohazard logo on it, right? I stored all my like school binders and stuff in one of those. I don't think the school staff necessarily liked me. But you know what? It worked for years. Oh my god, I love that bag. It was built just tough. I loved it. So anyways, we should normalize that for one, because dudes should just be able to carry around sacks like that, or like mini backpacks like Jack Krauser has in Resident Evil 4. Think that'd be cool. But you could also just store straws in there. Just have a little container with some just like straws, right? Like actual reusable straws. Normalize that, because it sucks to be without a straw and you're like, well, guess I'm getting ice down my shirt again.
Most importantly, this toilet was so complex and it was so vital that it be used 100% correctly 100% of the time that they had to train a new crew member, and his whole job was to flush this toilet. And his job title was, and I quote, the shit man. And that man lost a bet. He had to have lost a bet. Kids, it's probably the best example I can give you of why commas are important, because there is a significant difference between being the shit man and being the shit man. Because one of them means that you're probably a pretty cool guy, and the other one means that all your coworkers are going to talk to you like this.
Shitter was full!
Yeah. You checked our shitters, honey?
Okay, first of all, having a toilet be so complex that it necessitates its own career path is the brightest shining example of German engineering I've ever seen in my entire life. And secondly, it's important to remember the whole reason they did this was to save space and weight by not having a septic tank. Now, they have a new member of the crew whose whole job is to flush the toilet. He's also going to need somewhere to live, and he's going to have to eat food. At best, they're maybe breaking even. And to top it all off, they're also launching butt burritos at innocent turtles.
It's always Chipotle. Yeah. I would. Yeah. No, this track so far. Yeah. No, I think at best they're breaking even. At worst, Gratz, you've created even worse of a problem. This, dear God, is what someone higher up should have been like. Like, dear God, we should have just used the original design to begin with.
This is unacceptable. Okay, so U-Boat 1206 is on its first war patrol ever. 8 days into that war patrol, Commander Schlitt has to take a shit. You can't make this up. So the commander goes in the submarine, does what he has to do, and then when it comes time to summon the toilet guy, whose whole job is to flush the toilet and nothing else, he decides, nah, if anybody's gonna launch this stink pickle at an innocent fish, it's gonna be me. Plus,
Oh my god, it just gets worse. It just gets worse. Yeah. Oh my god, this man is gonna sink his own sub. Oh my god.
Plus, I'm an officer. I'm smart. How complex could it be? Things promptly go catastrophically wrong and the entire compartment begins filling with his own feces and seawater.
Nice. Yeah.
Which honestly wouldn't be the end of the world, except for the fact that this compartment was also full of high-capacity batteries for the submarine, and when high-capacity batteries are exposed to salt water, they start to release hydrogen and chlorine gas. Hydrogen being extremely flammable and chlorine gas being toxic, would force the crew to immediately surface the vessel, open up the hatch, and start venting the toxic fumes. And just when you think this day couldn't
They're gonna vent. There's your Among Us meme.
get any shittier, they were immediately spotted by the Royal Air Force, who began attacking them. The RAF would then critically damage U-boat 1206, causing the entire crew to flee on life rafts, where they were captured and held prisoner till the end of the war about 3 weeks later. Commander...
Yeah, I'm imagining just like freeze frame. You're now a prisoner of war. So I bet you're wondering how I got here. Goes back to him in the restroom. Oh, that's a really shitty situation. Oh my god. Like, no pun intended, but it really is. Wow.
Schlitt would actually survive and live to the age of 90 when he passed away in 2009, being probably the only guy to go to the bathroom and actually blow it up. So in conclusion, I truly believe that this may be the most expensive and consequential bowel movement in human history, and if it's not, I need you to let me know in the comments what actually is. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
That was perfect. His career is in fact in the toilet. You are correct, chat. Awful. Wow. And that's why you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time you do something. Sometimes if it works, it just works. You don't need to reinvent the whole thing. You don't need to R&D everything else. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. That was perfect. Oh my god. Like this was perfect. If you haven't checked out The Fat Electrician, you should absolutely check out The Fat Electrician. He puts out amazing content. And as you saw in this video, super personable dude. Super legit dude. Absolutely love it. Dude is just next level. And he really deserves all the success that he's gotten. And I hope he continues. I can see him making 1 mil, 2 mil subs easy. So definitely support The Fat Electrician. Go and check him out if you haven't. And yeah, let me know any fun facts in the comments that are on brand for this video. So yeah, it just works. See you next time.